Stephen Horahan here at brandmasteracademy.com, and in this video you're going to learn what brand personality is, why it's so effective, and the most effective tool that you can use to develop a believable and relatable brand personality for your brand. Now, when it comes to building a brand, one of the very first items on the agenda for the brand manager is to find a way to connect the brand with the audience. And there's many different elements that you can use within the brand strategy to do that, but top of the list is your brand personality. So what is brand personality? Well, it's a collection of characteristics that our brand uses in the marketplace to display our messages and express the brand. And the end goal here of brand personality is to make the brand a lot more human and a lot more relatable, because our audience are humans, and that's how they connect with people, through characteristics. They decide whether or not they like a person based on the characteristics that they display. And it's the exact same with brands as well. That how they connect, how people connect doesn't change. They look for certain characteristics, and depending on the characteristics they see, they decide whether or not they're attracted to them. Now, all of this happens on a subconscious level, but the end goal here is clear. Brand personality is there to make the brand a lot more human and a lot more relatable. Now, when you go and put messages out into the marketplace, you're trying to express to your audience why they should look at your brand, why you're different, what that value is that is going to make a difference in their lives. And what we say to our audience is very, very important, but how we say what we say is becoming increasingly important, because more and more consumers are looking for that human connection. They want to feel that the brands that they do business with are more than just this corporate entity, and they want to feel that human connection. So that's the end goal of brand personality, and that's what we need to do with our brands, is to make them more human so that they're more relatable to our audience. So why is brand personality so effective? Well, this goes back to what I just said before about how we all connect. Now, as people, we're all different. We all have different characteristics. We all behave in different ways. We like different things. And that's what makes us human, what makes us unique. And we display our characteristics to show others why we're unique and what we're about. But at the same time, we also read other people's characteristics to decide whether or not we like them. Now, this goes back to the old reptilian brain and our human instinct to decide whether or not somebody is a threat or whether somebody is going to help with our survival. So we're reading characteristics all the time. This happens on a subconscious level, and people are judged every day based on their characteristics by the people around them. And that's how we have the people in our lives that we have in our lives, because we've judged their characteristics and we've decided that we want those people in our lives. Now, family, it's different. Family, we don't really get a choice there. They're just in our lives anyway. But certainly with friends, we decide on the characteristics of those friends, and we decide what characteristics we like. And you'll tend to find that the people that are in your lives have characteristics that you're attracted to. And it's the exact same with brands. We make subconscious decisions about brands based on the characteristics that they display. And if we like those characteristics, if they display something that we're attracted to, we often make a decision, often on a subconscious level, about whether or not we're going to do business with that brand. So if your brand is out there in the marketplace displaying characteristics that your audience are attracted to, and your competition is not, well, then you have an edge over your competition in the market, because you are connecting on a human level. So how do we go about developing personalities for our brands? Well, there are many tools that you can use out there, but my go-to tool is brand archetypes. Now, brand archetypes are a framework that were developed by Carl Jung. They weren't actually developed as brand archetypes, they were just developed as archetypes. And it's a framework of 12 personalities that represent all human personalities. So my personality is more aligned to one of these archetypes, and your personality will be aligned to another. They might be the same, they might be different, but essentially each and every one of our personalities is most aligned to one of these archetypes. Now, the reason that's so effective when it comes to developing a personality for your brand is that you can identify an archetype that's most aligned to who your audience is. You can identify what their core desires are and what characteristics they display, and also what characteristics characteristics they're most attracted to. And then we can go about developing a personality and assigning an archetype to the personality we want to develop for our brand. So they're a really, really effective tool when it comes to developing a personality for your brand, because we can understand who our audience is and assign them to an archetype, and then develop an archetype that is best suited to attracting who they are. So that is the tool that I recommend that you use when it comes to developing your brand personality for your brand. But even there, it's only the starting point. This is just a framework, and essentially this gives you, let's call it a silhouette for your personality. You still need to shine a light on the details and fill in the details of that personality so it's more relatable and more human and actually feels like a human person. Now, if you've come across the term brand archetypes before, then you'll have most likely seen the articles and the quizzes that you have, where you'll be able to answer a series of multiple choice questions and it will tell you at the end what your brand archetype is. But these are flawed because they're multiple choice questions. Each one of those answers is aligned to a certain characteristic, and by the end of the quiz you'll have clocked up more characteristics than others, and there you're assigned an archetype. But archetypes are a lot more than that, and they're certainly a lot more useful than just following a multiple choice quiz. And if you really understand how they work, then you can really get down into who your audience is, uncover what they like, what they dislike, and then assign an archetype that is most likely to attract who your audience is. So go beyond just the brand archetypes quizzes that you see out there. When you really understand brand archetypes and how to use them effectively, then you can really go about developing an archetype and a personality that is effective in connecting with who your audience is. And with that in mind, it's really important to remember what branding is all about here. We're trying to shape perceptions. So we need to understand who the audience is so we can understand the mind where the perceptions live that we're trying to shape. And this brings us again back to the reptilian brain. We need to understand their reptilian brain and the fears and desires that are controlling their subconscious decisions. If we understand that and we understand the characteristics that they're attracted to, then we have the information that we need to develop a personality that can actually connect on a human level and can ultimately sway their decisions and shape the idea of your brand in their mind. But I'd love to know from you if you learned anything new at all in this video. If you did, hit that subscribe button. If you want exclusive brand strategy techniques that I only keep for my subscribers, then head over to brandmasteracademy.com and sign up for the newsletter. It's free and they will arrive directly in your inbox. But I'd love to turn it over to you now. Let me know if you did learn something new in the comments below, or if you have any challenges in relation to brand personality, please let me know in the box below. I'll do my best to get back to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, it'll let you know when I release new videos. Until then, happy branding, and I'll see you in the next video.